Welcome to Inside the Blueprint, the podcast where we uncover how creativity, action, and purpose shape our world. I am Carl Manlan, and today we are diving into the power of art across borders and the stories it carries.
Hi, I'm Claire, Carl's daughter and co-host. I'm excited for today's conversation because it's all about how art connects people and places across the world in ways sometimes we forget to notice.
Today we are joined by Daffa Konaté, founder of Art Kelen, a platform championing African and diaspora artists, bringing heritage, creativity, and new voices to global audiences. Daffa, we are so happy to have you with us today.
Thank you very much for having me today.
Before we start, if this podcast resonates with you, hit subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear it.
Every listen keeps us having these conversations across generations about things that really matter.
We are building something meaningful here, and we are glad you're part of it.
All right, let's get into it. Before we get started, I want to ask a question. So, what is diaspora?
Diaspora.
Diaspora.
So diaspora is African people. So we are talking about African today, Africa. So it's African people who are not living in the continent, but they are living abroad. So these people are considered as the diaspora.
So you are diaspora. I am diaspora.
And I'm diaspora too.
And she's part of a diaspora too. As simple as that. You have a very, I would say, interesting journey. When did you decide that art was a form that you wanted to use to define maybe a bit of who you are, but also your journey?
Yeah. Actually, it wasn't planned at all. It was 10 years ago, we moved to Istanbul with my husband because of his work. So it was the beginning of our journey at expatriation. And I took this opportunity to reinvent myself. And I have, so the quick story, I wanted to do something toward African country, but something positive about African countries. I was tired of all this negativity about when we talk about Africa, poverty, war, etc. So I wanted to do something different, to have a different narrative about Africa. And I love art, so I thought it will be great to talk about Africa through its art and its culture. It was different, and this is how Art Kelen has started.
Has there any, out of the pieces of art you've made, which one has been your favorite so far?
Me, I'm not an artist. I'm working with, I work with artists, I promote artists, but unfortunately, I'm not an artist.
Well, who has been your favorite person to work with?
I always talk about two Senegalese, actually two artists that based in Senegal. One is Senegalese, one is Congolese, because it's the first two artists who trust me, who trust me, and who gave me their pieces to go to Istanbul and to organize my first exhibition. So Baba Lee and Serge Mienendi are my favorites.
That's where it started.
Yes.
So from Dakar or Paris to Istanbul, you're using as a way to connect people and culture. Can you tell us more?
Yes. So I have different channels to connect people to African art. What I'm really passionate about is to connect people to the richness of African art and culture. So I have an online platform. I organize different types of events. I'm pretty active on social media. So my platform is not only a marketplace. It's just a marketplace. It's a platform that's celebrating and promoting African art. So it connects African artists to a global audience. On this platform, I'll also have an online gallery, and I have a curated selection of art that represent the diversity and the richness of African art. I have also a blog with a lot of content. So I have insight, I have cultural cultural event. I have a lot of information, artist interview also, and it's very a narrative platform. It's a community. So I was telling that I have this online platform. I organize also different types of events. So I had exhibitions, of course, but not only exhibition in galleries. Why? Because in galleries, you reach people who knows about art and who loves art. And I like to organize exhibition in atypical places like restaurant, hotel, and even schools, because you reach different type of person who knows about art, person who don't know about art, who maybe don't like art, but at least, you have a conversation with them. You can explain the art, you can talk about the artist, talk about their country, their culture, and then you can talk about Africa through its art and its culture. So I like to organize exhibition in these atypical places, I will say. I also organize different other type of exhibition like pop-up event where it's more craft. You find more craft. Last month I have an art talk, so Carl was there.
Yeah.
So it was an art talk where I talk about African art, but there were also a musician from Mali. He was playing kora. So kora is a traditional instrument. Last year I had 2 dinners also at home, so it's private dinner. It's limited places, 10 people usually, and with a Moroccan chef. And also during this dinner, you have an exhibition. So just to say that I have different types of events, just to show the diversity and the richness of culture and tradition and art in Africa.
You're impressed. There's something you mentioned about what you organized a couple of weeks ago, where I met Hakim,
Yes,
the Comorian artist that we actually had on the podcast. So, how do you find these artists? And then art is a very subjective element. So how do you decide that this is beautiful or this is better and so on?
So this is very personal. So usually I present only artists that I like, because to talk about them and to promote them, I have to like their work. So Hakim, typically, I adore his work. So it's important for me to be sincere and to like the work, so I can and also to have a good relation with the artist. Because it's not very always easy to work with artists, because sometimes they are in their own world, so they don't responding and things like that. But when you have a good relation with artists, it's easier. I do a lot of research, and Instagram for artists, it's a very good platform. You have a lot of artists on Instagram. And now a lot of artists are contacted me also, because I have started Art Kelen for a few years now, so people knows me. And it is a small world, so we know each other.
What was so far out of the events you've done or galleries, which would you say was your favorite and why?
Oh, yeah, it's difficult because usually I really like
Everything you do.
Yeah, everything I do. So I really like the art talk that I had a month ago, because it was the first one I did. I was very nervous about it, but I have a good feedback, and I think it was a good start for other things. So I like this one. A few years ago, I had an exhibition in Kenya with one of my best friends, Miriam Sidibe, and it was an exhibition, but it was for a charity, so it had a meaning. So it worked very well. So I really like this exhibition also.
So why this sort of connection of the diaspora through art?
Sorry?
Why through this connection of the diaspora through art? You could have chosen something else. But you decided that it was going to be your way of telling the world about Africa and also connecting the diaspora. Because as you can see, the three of us are all part of the diaspora, and we connected through your art.
Yeah, I think maybe my history explains this. So I was born and I grew up in France. I'm originally from Mali and Senegal, and I'm very connected to Mali and Senegal. It's part of me. It's who I am. So it has always been very important for me. And before moving to Istanbul, I worked for almost 10 years in a non-governmental organization toward African countries, again, because it was important for me to always to have this link to and to be connected to Africa. And but as I said, I was working on the thematic like poverty, war, and I was tired of this type of thematic. And me, when I was going in holidays, okay, I was seeing poverty, but not only. I was seeing also beautiful things, beautiful art, beautiful cities. So this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted to show, and I think also that it's a different way to talk about Africa and to highlight Africa.
Different way to talk about Africa and highlight Africa. Can you feel it?
Did you always know you wanted to do this, or did it just like come to you one day? Or
no, I knew that I wanted to do something toward African countries. But for me, entrepreneurial, it was like I didn't know anything about entrepreneurial, anything, because I always worked in the non-governmental organization or association. So it was very structured and everything. But it's the last, 10 years ago, I moved to Istanbul. It wasn't planned. But I saw that it was a chance for me to do something new. I didn't want to be, I'm moving, what I'm going to do, to be depressed, something. I decided to do something it was a new opportunity for me.
So why does it matter to project this image of the African continent to us, the diaspora, but also to global audiences?
It's important because we are in 2025, but there are still a lot of stereotypes and cliché, unfortunately. Lot of racism, and I think that it won't change everything, but it's a small
contribution.
Yeah, so it's a small contribution. And I think that, with the younger generation, we need to talk to them about this, all of this cultural representation. It's a very important for us African people, but also for in a more global way. It's it's crucial to talk to the young generation, to all of this cultural representation and the way it would shape their mind and their place in this world.
Just talking about you, the young generation.
Yeah, for me, when I think of myself when I was younger, for me, I knew Picasso, I knew Leonardo da Vinci, but I didn't know any African artist. I didn't even thought that we had African artists. So it's important also in terms of role model and representation.
what's your creative process when you're making something new? Like, is there something?
Yeah, for the creative process, I do a lot of research. I'm always on a lot of social media because a lot of things happen on the social media, but also I try to keep myself updated on what's happening on not African art scene, but on the global art scene.
Yeah.
just to know and to be aware of what is happening.
So when you do this, and I mean the event that I attended, whatever kind of feedback that you get that either inspire you to continue, or you feel like, okay, know what, this is a lost cause. Because there's always two sides in terms of feedback, but you keep on doing. I mean, you've been running this small business now for 10 years now?
A bit less, maybe 8 or
8 years. I mean, there are not many small businesses that manage to be alive after so many years.
Well, there are many ups and downs. Lot of up and down. But I'm very passionate about what I'm doing, and I'm sure that what I'm doing has a purpose, and it's a good thing what I'm doing. So I continue doing it, and as I say, sometimes I think that I just need to stop. I don't know what I'm doing. All of this because it's a lot of challenges, a lot of effort. It's not easy every day, but once you finish with an event and you have good feedbacks and also when I share my article, because as I said at the beginning, I have a blog, and for me some things are very common and natural, and so some people are learning things, and when they told me that, oh, thank you, because I didn't know about this, I said, okay, I should continue. Yes. because people are learning things. For example, a few weeks ago, I wrote an article about under glass painting. So this is a technique from Senegal. It's a very common technique in Senegal, and for me, everybody knows about this technique. Everybody knows this small painting. And one woman really, she sent me a message to tell me that she really liked the article. She didn't knew about this technique, and this kind of message really it motivated me to continue.
Maybe one question then. When you were living in France, you were maybe diaspora, but you were born in France.
Mm.
If you had not moved to Istanbul, would you have created Art Kelen?
No, I would still be in my NGO and not be happy about my work, for sure. No, for sure. It's a completely different, when you do something, it's very cliche what I will say, but when you do something that you like, it's completely different. Me, when I wake up, it's Art Kelen. When I'm going to bed, it's Art Kelen. I'm always thinking about this, even if it's not financially working as I wish, but still, I still continue because, as I said, I really believe in what I'm doing, and I know that it can have an impact.
I have a question from before.
Yes.
What is the, you were talking about, there was a glass...
Under glass painting?
Yeah, what is that?
So it's under glass painting, it's a technique where, the painter, they paint directly on the glass. Mm-hmm. And after they return it, so it's not easy, mm-hmm. But in Senegal you find a lot of this kind of art, and traditionally it was only painting, mm-hmm. But now with the modernity you find you can find trays or plate or glasses with this painting, and so it's very popular in Senegal.
That should be on your destination list for your travels. Dakar.
And I have a pop-up next week on Wednesday, and I will have some under glass painting. So if you want to stop at home, you're more than welcome.
Let's talk about a little bit about the diaspora and what has been the response of the diaspora to our own art. Mm. Do you find that you have a lot of us really being interested from a cultural perspective, from an identity perspective, but also from a purchasing perspective of acquiring this to support artists?
Yeah, definitely. There are more and more people from the diaspora who are interested and who are buying art. There are more and more a group of art collectors. So last month or 2 months ago, I have attended an online meeting of art collector from Mali. So it's very interesting. And last week, I have launched my first ebook. And this ebook is for people who want to discover African art, but also people who want to collect. And why? Because more and more people from diaspora were asking me questions about art. So I thought there is an interest for this type of content. Yeah.
So where do we find your book?
So it is online for the moment. It's only in French, but by the end of this month, it will be in English. And next month, there will be a physical book.
So if we want to read it or download it or buy it, you probably will share the link.
Yeah, I will share the link. Yeah.
I think it's an important. I mean, I went to it this morning trying to sort of get a physical copy to order, but
for the moment,
that will come soon.
Online. Yeah.
What's the name of the book?
It's in French. So, Art africain aujourd'hui, un guide ultime pour découvrir et collectionner.
Okay.
You got it?
Yes.
Are you gonna read it?
Yes.
Sounds if we buy it.
You have money. I'm sure you can buy your own book.
Yeah, but the physical copy.
Yes, next month.
Next month we'll get it. Do you have any questions for us?
What is your relation to art and how it has started?
You want to start? What does that mean? What does it mean? It means, how do you engage with art, or how do you understand art, appreciate art?
And do you like it?
Or are you an artist yourself?
Well, I do like art, and I do like the drawing and like painting. I think it's not like, it's kind of like a way of like just being in your own thoughts, or
It's interesting, yeah.
yeah. And like at our school, we had like couple, like maybe 2 months or something ago, there was like a art gallery of paintings that students had made, and it was interesting to see the different kinds of paintings and art and stuff there were. There was so many different ones. There was like one of the Alps. That one was one of my favorites. There was some of like more like cultural ones, like from maybe where they're from. Like there was some Arabic ones with like Arabic writing, and yeah. And I think I've always liked art. And yeah.
I think she has a little bit more artistic element in her than many of us in the household. For me, I see this as one of the best form of expressions, because I spend a lot of time with words and writing documents, and when I see something that I like, I don't really focus on artists necessarily, but I have to like it, to your earlier point. If I like it, then I'll get it. Sometimes I have challenges because I bring it home and I'm told, I don't know what, this is not a museum. Okay, there's no more space on the wall, and so on. But I do think that we have a responsibility as Africans, a member of the diaspora, to elevate small businesses. Because an artist is a small business.
Yeah, definitely.
Some of them become big, very big, and they're no longer a small business. But talking to Hakim, you realize that you need that combination of being an entrepreneur, as we were talking about earlier, and also you cannot just be one or the other, because it has to be seen as something that is valuable, that you can actually live off your competencies.
Yeah, I mean, this is what is missing with some artists. They don't consider themselves as entrepreneurs.
And I think that's probably the part that we probably need to do a little bit more work. So I have a few pieces that I got. I don't think I'm necessarily into the sort of art collector, but I'm very curious by sort of nature. I discovered one or two artists that are based here before, and then I took the kids to, when it was Art Week, I took them to Al Sakal, and we discovered a Zimbabwean artist that does sculptures, and I lived in Zimbabwe for a year.
Okay.
And I was always fascinated by their work with stones. You know, that the artist can see the form that's going to come out of this piece of rock. And I think it was a good experience. They enjoyed it. What did you take out of that experience?
I enjoyed it, and I really liked, what was the bird called again?
I forgot the name of it.
But it was really cool, and like when you feel it, like the texture of it is very like, it's like rough, but like looks really cool. And I also liked, there were some other paintings that, and it was like one, I mean, for me, when I saw it, it looked like the sea, and then there was like sea of fish, and I liked that one as well.
So yeah, I mean, the relationship that I didn't have it growing up, you know, and I think for this generation, they have to appreciate the different aspects of being African and being diaspora, and art and culture is a key component of it. Of course, today we grew up with Pepe Kale, all the Congolese artists that we had. They are growing up with sort of a Nigerian artist. Also, a lot of painters. So 2 weeks ago, we sat down with Hakim for his exhibition in Park Hayat, and it was fascinating to see their reaction to this and how they start to appreciate that this is something that maybe they could also do, because part of it is the exposure, and that's what I appreciate about the work that you do. You are creating a space for diaspora and everybody else to be exposed to what Africa has to offer. You know? And it's a different form of talent that definitely needs to be nurtured.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any other question for Daffa?
Yeah. Are there any new projects or ideas that you're excited about?
I'm trying to organize one last event before summer, maybe the first week of June, with the same musician and also with a Tuareg artisan. So we are working on it. So I will let you know it is confirmed or no. But after it will be the summer. So it will be my last event for the before summer.
Yeah.
What's a Tuareg for people who don't know?
Yes. Tuareg, it's people that we found in north of Mali, but not only north of Mali, but most of them are north of Mali. And this one, Mohamed, he made silver jewelry. And the Tuareg people are very known for their jewelry and also for the leather. They do a lot of things in leather, boxes, tray, lot of things in leather. So yes, we are working on an event together. And I met him my first year here in Dubai. He was here for the Expo 2020, and it was in the Malian pavilion. This is where I met him. He spent 6 months here, and we have already organized two events together.
Okay. So the work with the leather is because they're nomadic people.
Yes. Yeah, they're not always in the same area. They've moved depending on the weather.
With the cattle.
We learned about them.
You learned about
studies.
Social studies?
Year and this year.
Okay.
But more about the UAE nomadic people.
Same principle.
Moved because of the climate and
where do you take Art Kelen in the next 10 years? Now you're 8. Soon you'll be 10. 12 years from now, where do you want Art Kelen to be?
Oh, wow. I want for sure to continue. And
glad to hear that.
Yeah. And yes, to be, that more and more people know about Art Kelen, that Kelen is really a reference in terms of African art. I'd like to continue to promote a lot of emergent artists and maybe to have a physical gallery.
Any artist, you mentioned the twin brothers from Côte d'Ivoire. Any artists that we need to be thinking about that are not yet known that you're promoting on your platform that we should be thinking about?
Definitely these two artists from Ivory Coast. I don't know. I don't have any name.
It's okay. People can go to your website. We'll put the details of our website. But I was fascinated by these twin brothers that paint individually but also collectively.
Together.
And they use one does circles, and the other one does
the lines.
Use the lines. It was very very interesting to see that collaboration between these two brothers that have their own but also come together to
the individuality. I don't have any name right now, but for sure the type of art that I really like is woman portrait. I don't know why, it always moved me. This is why I like Hakim's work, because his portraits are just beautiful, and there is always something and something behind the portrait. It's not just the portrait, but usually it's it's to empower women, to show the resilience and the of the woman, and the fact that women are strong. That when it's related to woman, I like this type of art.
Maybe one more, and then maybe you have a question for us as well. Let's say you have the opportunity to bring to life your dream collaboration. What would that be? I mean, if it's a secret, we can keep it secret. But a dream collaboration in the art space for the diaspora and for the rest of the world.
I would love to create an event, maybe in Senegal or in Mali, when Mali will get better. But in the continent, and just to not just an exhibition, because I like to create something, not exhibition but with something different, with artists, with artists from different countries, different how can I say, different countries and different speciality also, in the continent, definitely.
Very cool. So, are you gonna get your first art exhibited at Art Kelen's gallery?
What?
When she has a gallery open, will you be ready with your art?
Depends.
It depends. It depends on what?
If I have any art.
You should. You are very talented.
And there are not a lot of woman artists. It's not that there are not a lot of, but they are less visible. So when I find woman artists, I'm very happy to promote them.
Very cool. Do you have any question for us before we sort of wrap up this conversation?
Yes, I would like to. You haven't told me how you got into art. You told me that you didn't grow up with art. So how it has started?
So when I moved to Zimbabwe in 1998, I started going to art galleries because it's a new country. I had things to do and also trying to improve my English. So it was one way to sort of meet people and have this conversation. And I was struck by what they were doing with stones, because coming from West Africa, we don't do anything that much with stones. No, it's not something that is used. And to start to look, you walk into the park. I forgot the name of a park in central Harare. you had exhibitions there. So suddenly art was available, accessible.
Important.
Yes. So when you grow up in West Africa, to your earlier point, you have to go to the gallery. But, who has time, to go to the gallery? Because your parents need to take you there. And as far as I remember, my parents were always working. And on weekends, it was going to the cousins. So I didn't, and then, so that started for me to be interested in understanding and really appreciating the fact that there is a different form of expression, which I was not necessarily accustomed to. Then when I moved to, as a student in South Africa, the university had things on the wall. So it's hard to say, okay, this is something that looks very interesting. This is something that, and then you start to spend a little bit more time understanding what it could be. And then and then I moved to Europe after my studies, and I started going to these places. But I never necessarily saw myself as a collector. Then I met the Ivorian artist, Joanna Shumali. And I acquired 2 of her pieces. And suddenly I was called a collector. I was like, that's how easy it becomes. You just so.
Yeah, collector is a big word and it scares people, but it's it's nothing.
Yeah. So from that experience of being able to buy something that I like and keeping it at home or wherever on the wall or maybe in started to appreciate. And the first piece of art that I ever bought was in Haiti.
And a lot of.
It was a piece of art by an artist called Blanc, and it's a market scene. And I bought this because I was in Port-au-Prince when I got the email that confirmed that I was accepted to graduate school. So I wanted to buy something to symbolize that moment. I really worked really, really hard to be accepted into that program. And I bought that piece of art. And it's the first piece that I ever bought.
It's important.
Yeah, it's important. And, and that piece, has a lot of it is attached to it because I also found myself in a place where I could afford something. At the time, I think I paid it. I think $500 for that piece. But it's more than the piece. It was beautiful, something that I like.
It's a symbol.
But it symbolizes my transition into something that I didn't think was attainable.
Yeah, it's nice.
So these two, in a way, are connected. And then since then, picked up different things. But for me, it has to be something that I like.
Yeah.
The name, okay, fine. It might be a big name, but I know Joanna's work always attracted me because it's completely different. To have a picture that has that is sewn into it with sort of that craft. I enjoyed taking pictures, but I never saw a picture in that evolution, for example. So that's how I started. Okay. And then I continued to get some pieces. It's always not easy now because, you have a wife that tells you that this is not your house is not a museum. So you kind of you have to find a sneaky way to buy more. But it is something that I do appreciate. And taking the kids to the art gallery about 2 weeks ago was an experience because I could see the excitement. And I had wished that early on in my life, maybe I was exposed to that. Whatever they decide to do is a different story, but it's being exposed.
Yeah, definitely. Too nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming.
Maybe 2-3 points to summarize, and maybe you have something to summarize too. Who knows? The first one for me is the association between diaspora and art. Because in my professional life, diaspora has always been seen about remittances, sending money back to the continent. But we could be different. The second thing is the event that you did. You almost made it so simple to understand what it is. And if you don't grow up with a culture of art, you think it's this thing, as you say, you have those big names that we grew up with that we knew. Gustav Klimt, and all these are the names that you have. Okay. But what about learning about those African artists? There's the artist from Niger, a photographer, Gujani, who, or even Malik Sidibé, from Mali. Those sort of portraits that were taken. But how come we don't have the same appreciation for it? So that's the second one. The third one is meeting different people. I mean, I met Akim at your event. I had the opportunity to engage again with the family.
And especially in Dubai, I think it's easier to connect with different types of people.
Correct. No, so the location also helps. So to me, this really, and thank you for making time to be with us today, and helping us to think about diaspora and art in a different way. So hope to see the 20th anniversary of Kelen in 12 years.
Inshallah. Thank you. And thank you for your support.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, Claire.
Thank you for listening to Inside the Blueprint. We hope this conversation gave you something new to think about.
If you enjoyed these episodes, there's more where that came from. Tap on videos to catch other episodes. Each one explores a different part of a bigger picture.
A new episode drops next week, so hit that subscribe button and we'll see you soon.
And until then, keep building, learning, and asking better questions.
Bye.